And hello, and welcome to the German Tournament Finals. I am joined in the booth by Leslie Pro. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Hi again, good afternoon. In this best of 5 series, let's see what Game 2 has in store for us. Well, we do know the flag set, all dungeons open mode. Uncle has a random weapon with key sanity and hard logic thrown into the mix.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. This was Ramond's pick, and they're gonna be thrashing around the entire game. Because you have to beat all the dungeons, beat GT, then beat Aga 1 to finally go into Gan. And that is the way most runners would like to route in all dungeons, because then you get a health and magic refill from beating Aga 1 and then just jump straight down to the Ganon fight.
The question is, will the seed allow that to happen? Because I've seen and experienced all dungeons races that force you to do AGA 1 sooner than that.
Oh, we're starting?
Yep, we're off, and we're starting with a Turtle Rock small key.
Yeah, that's something for much later. Kinda nice seeing them beat for beat there.
Level 1 tree pull, health recovery. Not going to be very helpful. Not at this point, anyway. But anyway, we are in perfect sync. Heading to Uncle. And Uncle is... That's something we would have wanted to have seen much later, like in Turtle Rock, but that's another story there.
Yeah, there's 2 of those to be found. Oh god, another one.
Speaking of...
Not much so far.
Well, at least a piece of heart breaks up the run of 3 keys in a row to start, and looks like they're heading straight for Lost Woods, not checking the lumberjack tree.
They're gonna check that when AGA 1 becomes a requirement or when they get the boots.
Might also check it from the Dark World side, and somebody dropped 20 rupees in the woods.
It's kind of amazing how they always end up syncing with each other.
RNG didn't sync up, because the bug went 2 different ways on our runners.
Yeah, that is an example that the level of craziness that a 2 assisted has to pull off. Like, tiny differences from just how they did the start of the game, and the bush crab went completely different way.
Now we're getting into Kakariko. First order of business for our runners should be to buy some bombs. Maybe check the back of the tavern, which is what iiYoshii's doing. Ramond taking a slightly different route to get there, and that's a key to Meyer.
That is junk.
Yeah, we're not going to be needing that for anywhere near that area for a while, so let's not worry too much about it.
Less than ideal start here. At least they had the money to buy the bombs.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd have to go into a location and hope that you'd get bombs somewhere. Well, speaking of, from behind the chicken coop. I was thinking more or less from going into the well or into Blind's hideout. Bit of a gamble, but sometimes randomizer demands you take such a risk.
Yeah, if there's in that situation, they usually save and quit back to Link's house, and then go through the Haunted Grove area. There's two 50-50 bushes there.
That
And
there
no dark
is, and we
rooms.
got a lamp. Raymond's got the other castle tower key, and we've already found a small key for Ganon's tower and powder. And that is the Palace of Darkness map. Now, what's important about that is that if you were to do a map check now, you would not be able to see what dungeon was what between Pendant or Crystal. You have to have the dungeon maps to get that information here.
Also worth pointing out that in Key Sanity, the dungeon music is also shuffled, so you can't just dip your toe in and know what it is by the music.
Yeah, because if you're going in blind, you don't know what it is until you've beaten the boss. And that's assuming you can even get there. Did iiYoshii forget something in the well?
Nope, they're farming rupees for the bottom of the merchant vendor.
Ah, that makes sense. But it's 10 arrows, so not required. I mean, if they find a bow real soon, it'll be nice, but they're not going to need that in all likelihood. So, the library is our next stop. That's a piece of heart. And it is worth noting that the two castle tower keys do put both checks in logic as soon as they get up to Master Sword or they get a sword and a cape. Now we got a bit of divergence as Raymond's going for the race game blind while iiYoshii scoped the item out ahead of time and is like, no thank you.
Scoping this item ahead of time doesn't save that much time, in case you actually do want to get it.
Right, in this case, neither runner wants it because it's just the single arrow. Continuing on to South Shore, starting with the dam. Now we're up to 2 Ganon's Tower small keys as Raymond's doing a fake flipper. This looks to be a Houlihan strap.
I've never seen that.
I've seen it set up before, but usually restarting from Sanctuary, not in this manner. Oh, that's a wet map, but what's it lead to? It's pretty much the one of 2 maps rather, that won't tell us anything. Because that one's for Hyrule Castle. What's on the island? That's a big key. Chances are we are going to need that. And now we do have some divergence. iiYoshii has the small key for Hera.
You're gonna get a coffee break.
So Green Pendant is Desert Palace. We can get information about two different things as we find a glove and a pod small key. So, you can get the Green Pendant information from Sahasrara, as we just saw there. You can also get the red crystal information from the bomb shop vendor in the Dark World. That's all the hints you're getting without the maps. Meanwhile, Ice Rod Cave is a map. This one is to Desert Palace, which would tell iiYoshii what Ramond already knows.
Yeah, he's gonna be annoyed once he talks to Saha.
Meanwhile, we've got ourselves our first rupee horde of the match. Ooh, but then gets hit by the big cannonball.
That happens
Ouch.
when you're not fast enough.
Yeah, you gotta be fast in the cannonball run, otherwise you're gonna get run over. And, ooh, Cane of Samaria found already.
I found a lot of things, but we barely have a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, you could technically use Cane of Samaria to get through the front of Escape. You know, just to beat up the guards and such. But that's not gonna help you climb Castle Tower.
This that was a very nice full magic drop.
Yeah, that's what will come in handy for using said weapon. Now, we don't have the big key yet, so this check that Ramond's coming up on will be the last one he can get to logically without it. No, this isn't map and compass shuffle, this is full-on key sanity. The original map compass shuffle.
Yeah, so this is all dungeons, hard logic, sorts of randomized, it's key sanity, and what else? I think that's it. You can see the icons up top between the name of either runner.
So now this looks to be a back of escape play.
I mean, we are kind of running out of locations, and I don't think they want to go check Zora with only Zora himself in logic.
Yeah, to break logic there, you'd need the Moon Pearl. So we find the Harem map, 20 rupees and 20 more rupees. So now I would say Front of Escape's looking like your best option. From an item density standpoint. But there's also another option, which I believe Ramond's going for here, and that is Death Mountain. Sure, it's only 2 checks, but could be something big.
It's out of logic though. You gotta keep that in mind that whatever you find there, it might lead you somewhere else.
Actually, it is in logic because we got the lamp early, we got the glove early.
I forgot about the
So
lamp.
this front part is definitely in logic.
Yeah, so they're gonna get a thank you from the old man, something inside Spectacle Rock and something up top of it. But the thing up top we cannot access because we don't have a mirror.
Meanwhile, we just got the Big Key game. We were just there. That's not nice.
That's a bit rude.
Now for the inside, well, that's a compass. What those do is those will tell you how many checks you've gotten in the dungeon out of how many. Inside Spectacle Rock is just 10 arrows, so what's next?
So Yoshi had a little moment of muscle memory taking over there. We tried to open that door without a key. It's always something when that happens.
So it looks like we're about to get an Agena check while iiYoshii going straight for... Oh wait, Ramond skipped South Shore entirely. Whoops.
Yeah, he did that very unconventional portal to next to the witch and then dropped down to Hulahan.
There's 50 rupees out of the first chest, but it brings Yoshi closer to Zora money. So right now, while Raymond's retracing Yoshi's steps here, Yoshi is checking out what he can in the cat. Hey, there's our first sword as well. Nice use of the Can of Samaria by Ramond to clear out Mini Moldworm Cave.
Because it's something that we not see very often, like Samaria is one of the best weapons to deal with them because it has a larger hitbox.
That's the one key that does not get shuffled in Key Sanity, the Hyrule Castle Big Key. Probably for the best.
It's that thing, Key Sanity doesn't randomize the keys that drop from enemies. Like, it's for that reason that we don't have to worry about small keys from higher, because there you have like one key on their pot and another key on an enemy.
So hard mode is going to have a few differences to what your standard Link to the Past random seed typically has. Hard mode limits you to 13... Ooh, that's a hook shot. That's real nice. So what hard mode will do is limit you on heart containers, so like 13 or 14. Also, your silver arrows are only going to work on Ganon himself. Your blue mail is going to be your max mail. Tempered, your max sword.
So it's almost vanilla energy loadout. And also, no, silvers are unavailable.
Oh, so they completely changed that for version 31.
Yeah, but keep an eye out for Ganon's hint of where the silvers are. You're gonna get a chuckle out of it.
Haven't seen that yet, so that'll be a good catch. Okay, it's just bombs at lumberjacks, so not required. So what you're seeing from Yoshi's side is an example of how the hook shot can help with movement in the overworld. Something to experiment with in your own time, as it's easy to learn, but in terms of mastering it, not so much.
Yeah, pretty much everything made out of wood, and most rocks, and pots as well. Like, there's a lot of things you can hook up to.
We do have a small key at Zora's Ledge. It'll be interesting to see what that turns out to be, if that's a required key or a key that we don't need.
I'm looking at Ramond's loadout, and it's a bit barren to pull out a splash delete.
And the King of Scams strikes again.
Yep, those taxes are not yielding a nice return.
So it looks like Raymond's next play is going to be Hyrule Castle, while Yoshi's going to head off to East Death Mountain, and a grand total of 8 checks over here, so this is definitely a play you want to make sooner rather than later. What's this? Raymond going straight for the back?
Yeah, he's gonna bomb jump on his way out of here. Also, he doesn't have to deal with the red Tektites.
So that 20 rupee item was something that was shuffled out as a result of this being hard logic. What it was? Couldn't tell you. I'm not sure myself.
At this point, it was most likely a Mayo upgrade.
Well, there's Master Sword, so now we have and there's this castle small key, which we don't need. Oh, that mirror opens up Hera.
He's probably gonna do a map check as soon as he gets out of here. Because we have the small key, and we have a lamp, so Hera is full clearable.
But do we have the big key is the question.
Oh, they can Hera part.
Ah, yes, that. Well, here's the problem for Raymond. Well, he'll have a sword, but he won't have Master, so he's still got to go back to Hyrule Castle anyway. Because right now, this sort of stinks like a potential Aga seed to get into Dark World. And Yoshi is not even going to bother with Hera for the moment. Probably catch that on a return trip, as it's a trip to the castle to check out what's in Castle Tower. Ooh, Raymond slipped going for bomb jump.
Burying something in Nagina? Yeah, we're still hardlocked to Aga at the moment.
So with key sanity on and keys being shuffled, the first 2 checks in Castle Tower are now randomized. So this play does have some merit, even if Yoshi doesn't fully finish off Aghanim. I mean, it's all dungeons. You're right here, you might as well, in my view. Not a strategy I'm used to seeing for that room, but it got the job done, and our first check is 300 rupees.
Yeah, I don't think Yoshi's gonna drop down to the Zora area without the flipper.
And it's a rupee statch, so it's looking like, unless the Moon Pearl is at a Gino, which would be really disgusting, it looks like we gotta do this for some means of getting it. And that's probably why Raymond's going to Hera, because if Moon Pearl's there, then Yoshi's getting this out of the way early, and it's not going to pay off as well as it could have. So our stun prize is just a small magic refill, nothing major. Nice grab of the small key off the guard. Now, what do we have here in Hera? 50 rupees. So now we get to play the game of how many blue balls.
I can assume that was supposed to be our second male.
It was either the mail, the sword, or the mirror shield. It's hard to tell which.
No, it can't be the mirror shield nor the sword because they're both progressive. And fire shield is available.
Ah, gotcha. There's our first blue ball. And a second. So we can still two-cycle, but we can't see any more blue. There's the Moon Pearl in the basement! Oh, lordy, wow. That's just nasty. And now for something you would not have seen in the past. Hera Pot. Using select buffer to set it up. Just trying to clip into the pot, and there he goes, as iiYoshii has Dark World access, but he's missing something. Oh wow, that sequence break is gonna pay off huge for Ramond, because that is the flute. Yoshi, in the meanwhile, comes up with the mushroom.
Man, that is going to be a wild goose chase for Yoshi.
Yeah, this could be a wild goose chase, because Moon Pearl in Hera basement. Gross. Wow, nice use of the hook shot there to avoid getting troll-dormed. Unfortunately, the mushroom turns out to be a piece of heart, but by virtue of the logic break, Raymond's first on the board with a crystal at 28-17.
And now Yoshi's gonna kiss goodbye to a lot of his money.
Yep. And now Raymond's about to go and activate the flute, which at this moment isn't going to do much of anything because you sort of need Titan's Mitts to be able to get into the Misery Mire area, but it's a great movement boost.
I think Agina has it.
Well, this would be a great way to check Agina as well. As for now, the goose is loose, the mallard is empowered, the duck is about to run amok all over Hyrule. And probably my most important and favorite one of all. But instead, Raymond's gonna check out Hyrule Castle, and by virtue of this, will be able to get the Master Sword and into the Dark World. Because we've basically all but confirmed that Aga 1 was required for Dark World access.
I keep forgetting about those things. Also, that bunny strike, the dragon has a little teardrop.
I didn't really get to notice it that much. So while we're recapping checks, a quick rundown of how our two runners got here. For Raymond, his first two rounds were 2-0 series wins over Lemelemswerg, NE323, and Dragon Strike 1988 before going to the third game against Ravis 10. For iiYoshii, it was Kriz 1508, 2-0, Lunchtime ATH 2-0, before going to Game 3 and winning against Yagamoth 2-1, and then taking a 2-0 series over Hitsuyan 1337. So Yoshi had the small key for Hera, has used it to get into the basement. Now by using Herapot, he'll be able to get upstairs and grab the flute. Although in reality, the big thing that he needs is in this next chest here, the Moon Pearl.
That flute might come back to bite.
Yeah, I can see it really coming back to bite, especially if Titan's Mitts wind up being in, like, odd or something.
Alternatively, the big chest might also come back to bite.
Yeah, jury's out as to whether this particular Herapot was worth it in the long run or not. Because I've seen it both ways with these sequence breaks, watching and commentating this randomizer over the years, as well as playing it. There are days where the sequence breaks pay off immensely huge. Yet there are other days where they don't pay off at all. It depends on the seed, really. Not so fast for Village of Outcasts. We're getting Catfish out of the way first, which, I mean, it makes sense, because there's really no good way of getting over here unless you have flippers and are about to mirror to get over to the Zora area for what you missed, but this works too. See what it is. Piece of Heart. Some might be inclined to grab that, others not so much.
Yeah, this is going to be the long way around, culminating at a hype cave at the very end of it.
For key sanity, it makes sense because I think we've only got like one pod key, so heading over there is a real gamble at this point, especially without bow. Actually, we're about to get a graveyard ledge check here off of iiYoshii, so this could be something needed. It may not be. I mean, you're passing by it and you can get it. For an all dungeon key sanity, you might as well be super thorough in your checks. Now, you can't get the bomb to the wall there without pulling a pot. You have to pull one pot to be able to get it there. Throw distance for Link isn't that far. That's what happens when you skip Arm Day. That could be important. That is the small key for Desert.
Yeah, that locks 2 items.
Looks like Yoshi is heading off to Bumper Ledge. You don't have the cape, but this is good information to have. 20 rupees, not needed. So yeah, knowing which checks are dead are also good too.
He's not gonna enter Thieves Town after checking the 3 houses.
So Ramond has the mushroom, while Yoshi has the Cannon's Tower Big Key. That's a big one to find. It is worth noting that that doesn't guarantee that our runners may not have to go into Ganon's Tower, because there may still be something in there that's needed for one of the pendant dungeons. I've seen it happen before. Not likely, but it can happen.
Oh, we're gonna get a mirror. No, we're not gonna get a mirror bomb to check the witch. That's a bit sad.
So we are going to get the inside for at least the first 4 of Thieves Town. That's the GT Compass, which will help you keep track of the dungeon's 27 checks, which are by far the most out of any dungeon in the game.
Yeah, the basement of Ganon starts like extra large.
Yeah, it is by far the largest dungeon floor in this entire game. Nothing comes even close. And so we've gone through the first 4 of Thieves Town and come up with nothing.
It's that game of where the heck's progression.
Yep. Although iiYoshii did find the Turtle Rock Big Key, so yeah, that'll help. So for fake flipper glitch, you have to be lined up on a specific pixel near screen transition, jump into the water, and you're holding towards that screen transition, usually to the left. Meanwhile, we got a dig game going on. The question here is how many digs? All that for a heart container. I've seen worse.
27 digs.
Well, it doesn't get much worse than that, admittedly. So right now, the big difference between our runners is Ramond finishing off Hera, which we don't know what's in that big chest, because we have not seen that big key yet. Okay, 45 having a small key, this one being the Thieves' Town small key, which gives access to the big chest.
Gonna need a hammer for that.
Yep, so we are still missing a little bit for that. We also need the big key for Thieves' Town to even be able to finish the dungeon. Another Turtle Rock small.
We're missing one.
Well, meanwhile, Ramond is making the play into Skull Woods, first of our runners to do that. Let's see how this pans out. Although
there's
I have
a bunch of
Good.
there's a bunch of chests in here.
Yeah, with a small key no longer guaranteed in the pinball room, that ups the value of this play as there's the flippers.
I mean, that pinball room no longer has a guaranteed small key as of V31. And was that a hammer?
I didn't see it, I was taking notes of something. And I guess, judging by chat, it was a hammer, so that does confirm that AGA 1 was indeed needed for Dark World access. I mean, it all but confirms it, but close enough for me.
I mean, there's that last hope of a glove in Agina. But it's a bit too far gone by now.
Nah, this is iiYoshii going to Agina. So we're about to know the truth. That heart container confirms the truth. AGA 1 was required for Dark World access. Bit of an interesting route by iiYoshii here.
Yeah, have to remember that after AGA 1 is defeated, we have those using bolt cards chasing you.
Yeah, I was curious as to iiYoshii's route, as it was an interesting route to get to this point, but it does lead to Magic Bat. And that hammer leads right to the fire rod at Magic Bat. Wow.
he's going to be able to jump into Skullwoods and actually kill them off.
I mean, at this point, you've got the goods needed to clear out the dungeon, and in a key sanity mode, go for it. The reason I say that is because this is one of the dungeons where you don't need the big key to clear it.
Yeah, just like Swamp Palace, the big chest is just an extra item.
I mean, technically, you don't need the big key for Ice Palace if you use Bomb Jump, but we'll leave it at that.
I think even if you have the King of Somaria... No, wait, you can't.
I was about to say, I don't think they approved that one yet.
Oh yeah,
I
there
mean,
was that new push, like you get the block to push it through the railing on the second floor. I've seen the GIF.
Yep, as have I, so... Let's just say some things haven't been cleared. Yet. Yoshi about to get the flippers out of Skull Woods, but the big difference is, with the fire rod, gonna be able to clear this dungeon out. Oh, and one thing about the Dark World enemies worth mentioning is that they hit harder. That enemy that just hit iiYoshii did a considerable amount of damage.
Yeah, most of the stuff here you look at 2 hearts of damage.
Yeah, Gibdo's case in point. There's the Titan's mitts!
Yeah, that's the game is opening up.
Big time.
Now that flute is gonna come in handy once Ramond returns here.
So right now, this is already shaping up to be quite the sequence. Hammer at Hype Cave, which Raymond's closing in on. The Fire Rod at Magic Bat. To mitts at the back of Skull Wood. Also, one other thing worth mentioning about hard mode as it just became relevant is that powdering an anti-fairy or a bunny beam only yields a recovery heart.
I mean, that's better than expert. On expert, if you powder one of those, you get a B.
Not the bees! Meanwhile, speaking of bugs, Mothula is a fight that can bug many a runner, because if you hit Mothula into those spikes, you've nullified the damage source. That's the Hera Big Key on the island. Wow. So now we know the seat. So now Raymond's flute is back in logic.
Okay, now the question is, what's in the box?
It could be a number of things. It could be a bow. It could be an ice rod. But it could also be a zonk.
Double dipping the Zarya is not ideal, but they both had to do it, so it evens out.
True that. speaking of things evening out, we're about to see the full everything that's in the front of Skullwoods. So Yoshi's about to get the same keys that Ramond already got, as well as everything else. Although I dare say, once we get a medallion, the potential of going into Turtle Rock is looking pretty good with the amount of keys we have for it. Wow, that is a pod small key on Zora Ledge. That's 30.
So now we're looking to save Scummy.
Yep, save scumming for keys. You see this sometimes in Zelda 1 randomizer. In Key Sanity mode, this same thing works here.
Oh god, that hook shot.
I saw that, I'm like, wait, what? How do you do that? I didn't know that was a thing.
That's a thing. There's not really any place. There's not really any place in Link to the Past that you can do that other than that very precise hook shot. But in ROM hacks, people have learned to make use of that.
I haven't seen too many ROM hacks, but to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Parallel Worlds did something like that. Oh, they got the flippers.
The flippers was the
Interesting.
what?
Interesting that Raymond's heading over to Pod and not the Mire area. But we'll see how this plays out all the same.
I mean, he could full clear Mire. Got a lamp, got the cane, got the hook shot, but no coins to get in. Yeah, so the flipper's location was the big key chest in Skullwoods.
We start, well, that's nice, half magic.
No bottles, no ball. Has to spend this one.
Yep, that's a force key spend. No. No negotiation on that one. There's the Mire big key.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. We need that one for Mire. Are we gonna see a mimic clip?
How is that gonna work without... I might as well just watch.
It works because the red mimic moves at a much faster pace, so he moves 2 pixels at a time. So by buffering, you can nudge him 1 pixel at a time into the wall. Nudge him enough, and he just ascends.
Wow. What else are they gonna find with this game, I wonder? Well, they found the ice rod, so I takes that off the table.
And that is our third shoot. Oh my god, the route he's gonna follow through this. So he's probably using his key on Harmless Hellwit. Oh no, he has to use it here.
Yeah, has to use it here. Probably gonna head to the back, check the 3 chests that aren't key locked, and if I had to guess, this is just the crazy person in me. Probably Hammer Yump. Oh my goodness, the boots are in the big chest of Hera.
Yikes.
That is a humongous break for Yoshi. As Ramond has already full cleared the dungeon, it may be a long time before he gets back there.
Yeah, so the boots is, while it doesn't unlock that much, the earlier you get it, the more time you save compared to your opponent.
Even though we don't know of anything that's boots locked specifically, the time gained from movement is immense.
Yeah, there's Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb. But Yoshi's gonna give us a look on Turtle Rock.
I see. Open the teleporter. See that we need bombos for it, so keep that in mind for later. The Hera Big Key was on Lake Hylia Island. And our Hammer Yump yields 3 bombs. And the other map that does nothing, the Ganon's Tower map.
Yoshi found the Mire map.
So now we get to look at the other potential troll of this seed thus far, the Eastern Palace Big Chest. I don't think we have any means of accessing Spike Cave, so I don't think this is going to work out, but that was a nice dodge of the Lionel Fireball. Oh wait, he's got cape. Never mind, I did not see where he got that. Well, the big chest for Eastern's just a big 20, so... Yep, that didn't pan out. And that's Ganon's Tower small key, not the most important item you could have gotten out of that, but still pretty important regardless.
Yeah, so Key Sanity, once it hits Go mode, it's insanely fast.
While Yoshi has a flute to activate, Gonna do the King's Tomb Bonk Rocks first. Red Meringue in the King's Tomb.
So Ramond is taking the path, the direct path to Hera. Is he gonna do the big key? Not the big key, the big chest.
It's alright, I knew what you meant. It's definitely would be worth his time to do that.
That's a bonk.
Well, mirror bonking is way more annoying than bonking with the mirror, because the mirror bonk puts you right back into the dark world. Raymond's going for the direct path with the Hera pot. Got it earlier. And it's 2 for 2.
That setup is really fast.
So that's a small key on Desert Ledge, as Raymond now has the boots.
That is Quake. So we're looking for 2 different coins.
Meyer Shed only having 55 rupees today. Looks like Raymond's going for Blind Lumberjack Tree. I like this play in the sense that you don't even check it, you just get whatever it is. But it's still a blind play.
Yoshi's saying no to that map.
It's all dungeons, so the maps really are devalued on key sanity in terms of what's needed. I mean, there's still the off chance that, although I doubt we'll see it in this seed, there's still the off chance that we have to, say, find a bow in Ganon's Tower to finish Eastern after doing Aga 2. All dungeons can do things like that. Piece of heart at the small key torch.
Yeah, so he can get 2 more items out of here.
There's Bloomerang.
Not really that helpful.
Yeah, based off our setup, I'm starting to get leery of Ice Palace, because we have everything needed to get in, and Bomb Jump would let us clear it.
Okay, so Ramond still has to go back to Skull Woods to actually get his Titan. And Yoshi is looking set to do a Smith Chain quest here.
Based off Raymond's movement, I see a Swamp Palace visit in their future.
Yeah, Key Sanity, this Swamp Palace small key is the one thing that you need to get through the dungeon. Because without it, you won't have access to one chest and it control.
That chest can also draw by having something that can lead you to the Swamp Palace small key. I've heard and seen stories of that happening before. Well, for something comical, you can hit the table with the hammer, and the blacksmiths will say something. To me, it's funny, but that's just my sense of humor at work.
I remember in the English version they call it an amateur.
Yeah, in this version, they yell at you to don't take your jobs. Ooh, 300 rupees sealed away in purple chests.
Ramond is, what is he doing?
Looks to be in a thinking pattern. When you've got a lot of stuff randomized, like key sanity, that can happen sometimes, as Yoshi's making the dive into ice.
So, more on that Mario clip that can lead you to the railing on this floor that Yoshi's on. If people are on the fence for that one specifically, because it's the same type of clip that you do at the bottom of Ganon's tower to warp all the way to the top of the tower.
Not to get into, but I can see why people would think that way.
So, did you see that first chest?
I didn't get a good look at it. What was it?
The big key of Ice Palace.
Ah, yes, sometimes that does happen in Key Sanity, where the big key will stay close to home.
So that means he can full clear Ice Palace.
Yep, and we're going bomb jumping.
And Raymond's taking another pause.
Ramond is thinking about what move to make next. Or possibly having to use the bathroom.
I wonder if he's using one of those full-blown map trackers and is just lost at what he has available for him.
Yeah, sometimes when you use those trackers, you can click something on the tracker, and that can cause plenty of problems.
It doesn't help as well because the inventory key tracker that you see there.
Oh, hey, there's the tempered sword and ice. The mitts were in the back of Skull Woods in the small key chest that's there. The sequence to get that was Hammer from Hype King, Fire Rod Magic Bat, and there's Bombos inside of ice. So the sequence that the hammer was blocking continues to grow. And there's the Desert Palace big. Yeah, this seemed like a potentially loaded ice palace. Good block clip to the big chest, but Yoshi opting to drop in from above, and it's just 20 rupees. Starting to think all these 20s were heart pieces that were basically booted from the game. So Yoshi is heading to the boss without going to Iced Tea? Did he get that and I not see it? Anyway, Cold Stare when you have Bombos to start Phase 1 is much simpler. Just use Bombos and the ice is melted off. Perfect Phase 2 for iiYoshii. Very well done.
That was nasty. And Green Pendant Desert Palace is now 100% completable.
Ramond now has the Titan's mitts and is opting to come back later.
I'm having a lot of trouble understanding Ramond's route.
Yeah, it's not clicking to me either, but he is doing map checks, and we do have a pendant and pod, and that was a red crystal that Yoshi picked up out of ice.
Yeah, we also have a regular crystal at Eastern.
So yeah, we're not going to be needing Bo to get to... Well, we're not going to have a required Bo in GT is what I'm trying to say there. Wow, chat just brought up something I did not think of. No bottles, an hour in.
I mean, that just devalues whatever the hell Sick Kid might be having.
Nicely done for the land molas. And that's a small key to... That's the swamp small key!
Okay!
So now Swamp Palace is very much doable.
And Yoshi's going straight there.
At this point in the key sanity seed, you find progression that leads somewhere. Chances are you're going straight there.
Yeah, no bottles found so far.
That would be tempting to check Sastrala first, I gotta admit, but I do like this play by Yoshi going straight in, because unless the Swamp Big Key's in here, it's 9 checks out of 10. Leading off Swamp, after getting past the Swamp small key chest, is a piece of art that fills a container. Well, chat bringing up left side Swamp, I would agree. In this situation, skipping left side Swamp would be a crazy decision. Like, it's the sort of decision you only do if you feel like you are insanely behind. And even so, that could just put you even further in the hole.
Yeah, given that this is key sanity, left side swamp is guaranteed 2 items.
Yeah, in regular modes, you could potentially gamble it, but even in map compass shuffle, as well as full on key sanity, it's gonna be 2 items over there no matter what, so it's probably worth your time to check it. He is noting something at the moment as Ramond comes up with Bombos. The water's been drained. Yoshi's going left side. Now, while that is a slower route, the vanilla route is to set up left side swamp. It is the safer route because you don't run the risk of flooding the key.
Yeah, if you do that, you have to leave the dungeon, screen transition, and then reopen the dam and hope you don't forget the key for a second time.
Yeah, it's one of those really super annoying time losses.
So that's pod key number 4.
I mean, yeah, it's easy to say just don't do it, but everybody who's played this game has had the brain fart and done it, myself included.
Yeah, it's one of those mistakes, like the more you play, the harder it is to go without having made the mistake. So, a little bit of a difference between the runners. Turtle Rock is, I think it is 100% doable for Ramond.
It is, and it's the one thing he can do that Yoshi cannot do. Trinex. Because the thing is, we still have not found a bow, as the ice rod was in Pod's dark maze, or thereabouts.
I mean, Yoshi can get there now. Just, it's not enticing for him to go to Pod without the big key.
Well, what's not to say the big key is on, say, Argus. I've forgotten Ice Rod heading to Trinex, so in my NMGPB, so yeah. All I'm gonna say about that. Meanwhile, Yoshi's setting up for the Phase 2 quick kill. And done. With a bow! Wow! That's gonna send him to Pod!
I mean, still can't hit the boss, but now Eastern is doable.
So now both runners have something they can do that the other cannot do. For iiYoshii, and he's on his way to it, it's finishing Eastern. And he doesn't have to do the mimic clip to do the bow locked part of Pod. Ramond, on the other hand, can full clear Turtle Rock, including Trinex. Although that small key might send him directly into Swamp.
You see how quick he did that land mola?
Oh yeah, both runners' landmo fights were really quick, and now we are going to see just 20 rupees off Sahasrara. We are not quite go mode yet. There's still a few things we need. We haven't
Yeah, we're
found the Thieves
missing.
Town big key, for one. We don't have the Pod big key. Those right now are our two largest barriers. That and the Eastern big key. So really we're needing 4 things for go mode.
Yeah, so a few big keys and a Quake medallion.
Oh yeah, we did have the Eastern big key. My mistake. I was thinking of the Pod big key. So it's the Pod and Thieves Town big key plus the Quake Medallion. So it's 3 things. Actually, no, 4. We need the Meyer big. So it was 4. I just had the wrong big key.
So, something about yesterday's race. During the English interview, Raymond told us that he feels that Yoshi's a faster runner than him, and so he's doing like all these crazy sequence breaks, gambles. Like that is because on a follow the logic race, he feels like he doesn't have a chance against Yoshi. And so he's doing like the wildest things possible just to get an edge on this thing. And if this pays out, it's gonna be huge.
So we have already found the Meyer big key, and I think it was in Pod. So I am just moving details left and right. Ah, well, no one's perfect.
Was that the big kid swamp? Oh wait. No, oh no, that... Okay, I don't even know what was that.
I don't think iiYoshii meant to fire that 6th arrow, so we're gonna get the Rage Knights, which really isn't that big of a time loss. And that was just for Ganon's tower's small key, so that's gonna make just going straight up the tower much easier to call.
Yeah, ideally, they wanna hit go mode and just enter the tower and go straight up.
Yeah, that's the ideal key sanity seed, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. Well, sometimes that's a randomizer for you. So Yoshi now has half magic. Ramond, on the other hand, in Turtle Rock, going to be able to do all 12 checks as well as Mimic Cave.
In terms of fight intensity, this... not much that beats this.
Yeah, quite tedious routing to not have to go through the middle door.
I mean, the more keys you save, the less time you lose here. Oh, so he's gonna be spending this key.
We did not see this particular chest, so if it's Quake, it's a big break for Yoshi. Actually, both runners just came up with identical pieces of heart in different locations. Yep, the Meyer Big Key turned out to be in Pod.
So Yoshi doing the same routing that Ramond did. He's gonna have to choose. No wait, he doesn't have to choose anything. Just has to skip.
Meanwhile, the Thieves Town Big Key was in Turtle Rock.
Oh boy. So it was in a big key chest. They just switched the labels around. Okay, so my mind is just in a state of confusion. Yoshi has everything he needs to clear pot. He just has to do a hammer ramp to skip using the key for Dark Mage.
I don't quite remember where Bloomerang was. I feel like...
Ice Palace, most likely.
Nah, I don't think it was Ice.
No, wait. Oh, Swamp Palace. That is the big one that Yoshi did and Ramond didn't. Speaking of which, did Ramond do Skullwoods?
He did everything but Mothula. He might be trying to play for a pedestal pull to loop it in with that. But it's hard to tell if that would be required or not at this point.
Yeah, well, Dungeon's a bit more likely to put stuff on the pedestal.
And iiYoshii has unfortunately been dead-dropped. Got ourselves Laser Bridge. Which so far has nothing of note, even the map of this dungeon. And the Hera Compass. So Laser Bridge, nothing worth noting. Trinex could still have something.
I mean, he already pulled the big key of Thieves down here, so it's already something. And Yoshi's following him.
It's a very good one cycle for Trinex Phase 1 on Ramond's side. And that's Trinex. Which had the Eastern Palace compass. Ooh, iiYoshii tries to get out of the room but gets shot from behind, so that's a rather unfortunate death. Not the most costly, but probably not what you wanted to have happen there anyway. I was about to say Raymond's going back to finish off Meyer, but nope, going to follow up on that big key. I'm interested in seeing where this leads. Good chain chomp room for Yoshi. At this point, it could be a different big key locked in that chest. Who knows? One thing I do know is we're running out of locations to check, so there could very easily be something here. Ramond didn't finish the dungeon either, so this is another little bit he has to do. So now we are closing in on seeing something new. And also, over the lava pits of Turtle Rock tends to hurt twitches and coders, so if things static out there, it is what it is. Alright, moment of truth. That's the King of Burna. A little anticlimactic there, but, well, let's just say with low HP, if you run into trouble with blind, you can just throw that up and that solves that problem.
Actually, no, that doesn't solve that problem.
So,
It is not an invisibility item.
Yep, and Blind's got jokes for days. Worth noting that iiYoshii didn't finish Thieves Town either, so he'll be heading back there too. And Blind's got the Quake Medallion!
Okay. So, Yoshi's probably heading straight to Meyer now. Not a Yoshi of Ramond.
Well, Raymond's not heading there just yet. Has to finish Skull Woods. Yeah, at this point, things are becoming very linear, very fast. Raymond still has to go into Swamp Palace to get the bow off of Argus. Other than which he probably would prefer to have for Vitreous, I would imagine. But even though Phase 1 with Cape is not that bad. Yoshi's closing in on Trinex and the next part of the chain. And down goes the moth.
Yeah, this is getting pretty close.
Oh, it is. Yeah, we are basically a Palace of Darkness Big T from No Mode. That's the good news. The bad news is that it can quite literally be anywhere in the game, including at Ganon's Tower.
Let's see. Yeah, that can happen. If the game is nice enough, it's on Vitreous.
That's a pretty big if right there, because you're assuming randomizers like to be nice. I've seen these randomizers do some things. Meanwhile, gotta get rid of the Murderedactyl because Quake Medallion is not gonna do anything to it whatsoever. So Yoshi's heading back to finish Paw. Thieves Town while Raymond's in Misery Mire. That one Rizrobe in Mire 2 did give him a bit of trouble, though.
Yeah, the beam was the sword beam.
It's also worth noting that Wizrobes hit really hard in this game. At Green Mail, they do 4 hearts of damage, just like their Zelda 1 counterparts.
Well, you have to remember, this dungeon in the vanilla sequence, it is done after Ice Palace, and because Ice Palace has the blue mail, they did make sure like you would want to get that.
Fair point. And 1 hour, 39 minutes, 26 seconds, we have our first bottle. So now Sick Kid could potentially have our go mode set up. Who'd have picked that?
Oh lord. Well, there's the book.
So we are reading percentage in Mire 2. That's one way to skip a small key chest, I guess. But we're not going cutscene percent today.
That's that can bite. Oh hey, we got spooky action.
Yep, this is a glitch found within the past year or two that enables time saves going through Mire. No more annoying... No more having to go for switches, basically, is what that means. There's a very good phase 1 for Vitreous. Now, bow is the fastest way for dealing with phase 2, but still, Tempered Sword does a fair amount of damage to it as Yoshi comes up with the Quake Medallion.
That is very done. What do we get? Okay. So the quest continues.
Yep, so now the question is, does the book lead to something? Or did that bottle Raymond come up with the key?
3 more checks after that dungeon. They're pretty quick with the flute. So Sick Kid is probably the first one. Or not.
Nah, this looks to be a play to go for the Bombos tablet. Now, it is worth keeping in mind, as pointing out by Amazing Ampharos in chat, is that Raymond is gambling that the cutscene chest, which holds the Mire Big Key in vanilla, has nothing. This isn't a Pyramid Fairy play, this is a play for Swamp Palace. As remember, Raymond needs the bow here to be able to clear Easter.
Yeah, that is also something. Pyramid Fairy is open.
And with that, Yoshi picks up their first bottle. It's worth noting that hard mode, I believe, also reduces the potion effect. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
It does that, except for the rooms where the Cape and Samara retain their normal functionality.
Yoshi's going for the cutscene chest. This could decide things right here.
So, was it a time save or a race loss?
Moment of truth. It's a heart container, the sank heart, so in a sense, Ramond is still very much in this. Had that been the pod big key, that might have been good night. But we keep on going because we still gotta play the game.
Oh boy, we got a bunch of loose overworld checks and the tower.
And we have found the compass of this dungeon.
And welcoming the bus that just arrived of 58 people coming from Speed Gaming Trip. Enjoy, this is game 2 of the German finals.
Yep, right now we are looking for the Palace of Darkness big key, as this is an all dungeon race. Key sanity on hard.
Also, Yoshi did not set up spooky action. And that Ramond pulled the zero cycle.
That he did, and he used the ice rod as well, which is another viable option for that particular kill of Argus. Has the bow. Question is, will they pursue it or will they pursue the other checks? Possibly nerfed it a bit. Okie doke, good to know.
Oh hey, now we get Cape cheese strats. That
My favorite
one,
kind of strats for Argus, admittedly.
Yeah, one of the eyes moved forward and ate the sword.
Yeah, one of the eyes poked the sword, so that would have really thrown off the initial zero cycle, but in this instance, it just hecked things up a little bit.
Yeah, Yoshi's not chasing any shenanigans, he's going for the tower.
Well, not so fast. It looks like the route he's taking is going to let him route the ether tablet in very easily. Yeah, this has become amazingly close at this point. What do we got at the ether tablet? Couch Cash, move right along. So now, in lieu of the traditional GT Big Key game, here's one for you. Where is the Palace of Darkness Big Key? Is it in Ganon's Tower? Is it at Bombo's Tablet? Is it at Pyramid Fairy? Or is it at Sick Kid? Chat, let's hear it. Note for Ganon's Tower, 1 through 27. And thanks for the reminder about Swamp Big Chest. The problem is, we don't have that big key.
So the chain can be even longer, because we can get the Swamp Big Key, and then the Pod Big Key can be in there. Oh man, what a race. And then Ramond is following.
Let's further add to the intrigue by having Ramond go into Ganon's Tower. Sure, why not? There it is! First chest in the whole room. Yoshi's in go mode.
Well, this is Yoshi's race to lose.
That ends that very quickly. Holy smokes, Batman! This randomizer, I tell you, it does things to you that you would not expect at all.
Yeah, so if you want to know what Sick Kid has, you're gonna have to watch for the credits.
Also gonna have to have that for the pedestal. So Yoshi already in Gauntlet. Ramond's gonna check the ether tablet, be disappointed. Excellent use of the bow through Gauntlet by Yoshi. And Ramond's going left. That is extremely unfortunate. So now Yoshi's not even checking anything else. As Ramond continues to go for left side. And Yoshi's going right for it. Well, there's the shovel. On Raymond's side, that's, well, all I'm gonna say is, can you dig it? Now we get ourselves some agonometry. Very nice triple to start.
Okay, I can finally speak again.
Ooh, that blue ball broke up for sure seemed like a possible double triple.
Oh my god. This is going all the way in.
Yeah, this is extreme. This is about as unfortunate as it gets in terms of routing Ganon's tower. Very good Ice Armor's kill, I have to say that much.
Well, that would have been 2 safeties.
Yeah, it would have been 2 pieces of heart, I believe. As there's an extra small, and there's the news, and he just hits the mirror button and continues onward. You just hate to see that happen, folks.
Yeah, it's looking like Ramond's is gonna be doing Agate 2 when Yoshi's maybe starts Ganon.
Possibly. Remember this, though. That extra pod small that Ramond picked up in the Hope Room is going to come into play because that's going to allow him to finish the dungeon, as he had to open the small door. Or rather, the first door, which Yoshi is just like, talk to the hand game, not opening that.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm gonna check his pause menu to see if he still has a pod key.
Yeah, he picked one up in the Hope Room, so Raymond's good.
So Yoshi seems determined to give the Ice Rod a bit of love today.
Understandable, because the Ice Rod often gets neglected in this game through literally no fault of its own, because the speed route only uses it for Trinex, basically.
Yeah, the main difference between Ice Rod and Fire Rod is the Ice Rod can be fired faster, but it has lower projectiles.
Yes, and you can have 2 Ice Rod shots on the screen at once. Fire Rod, you can only have 1. Meanwhile, it's Ganon time.
Where is that from?
That is from Zelda 2. The storyline of that game is that there's a plot to resurrect Ganon. And as a result of a spell that is cast, Link cannot believe. As one drop of his blood hits the ground, Ganon resurrects. Hence, that saying of Link's blood being able to resurrect Ganon, as it is from Zelda 2.
Interesting.
Is definitely a bit of an oddball when it comes to this series, admittedly.
So that
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah. So that first shot that Ramond did, where he shot 2 balls right at the, because they were overlapping because they were overlapping so closely, they only count as 1.
Planet Zebus. For those who want a little insight on the joke, well, there is a combination randomizer that includes Super Metroid. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a chuckle there.
I knew you'd like it. That is to say, silvers are not available.
I mean, you could make that. I mean, you could honestly do a few other variants for Chuckles, like Mushroom Kingdom and whatnot. But either way, down goes Ganon, we got Bacon, and we have got a tie series just about, as Yoshi just has to cross the most dangerous 1x3 in all of gaming, as I found out personally firsthand. And with that, we have a tie series as iiYoshii is finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, 12 seconds.
That is a very good time for all dungeons.
All dungeons key sanity on top of that, I might add. See, this mode really, what really determines it is how good's your routing. If your routing is really good, then you're going to be rewarded, especially in all dungeons.
So, by the way, Ramond did not check the big key chest, so he has an extra key.
I'm looking at the schedule right now, and I do not see anything about semifinals on the speed gaming schedule. Is that referencing something else?
I think I missed the kid credit.
I didn't see it either. Or is it coming up next? Nice fight against Helmasaur King for Ramond. And the shovel dug up the Ether Medallion. Interesting. Ramond opting to do a save quit to get back to the pyramid. Good strategy, because here's Ganon. And it turns out Sick Kid was just holding bombs today.
I keep forgetting the order that this credit scenes are.
It's easy to forget that. Oh, meanwhile, Ramond gets clipped by the fire bat.
Yeah, that's the one downside of doing a save and quit. You're 6 hearts less for the fight.
And our pedestal today was arrows. And it's also worth noting that because Ramond took a death to Ganon, the RNG now is different than it was at first. Some very good dodges of those fire bats. Must have been playing that Coco dodging game that's in A Link Between Worlds, which you'd be surprised at how good of a cross-trainer that is for other parts of other games in the series.
Yeah, I've played that one, and it's, yeah. It can teach you how to dodge. Sequence of, like, it's a bullet hell minigame, and it can teach you how to dodge situations like when the things are coming from off screen and they pinch.
Nice spin to start off, even before the torch went out. Uh-oh. Okay. Now you gotta be careful with these fire bats because they tend to knock Link in some rather interesting directions. Basically, if you get hit by those, don't be pressing on your D-pad because that's a great way to get knocked off.
Yeah, the knockback on this bat is pretty large. It's about as much as you get from swinging at Ganon.
Missed the fire rod shot, but that's okay, gets back into sequence. And down goes Ganon for Ramond. Just has to navigate the most dangerous 1x3 in all of gaming to wrap up this race. And that comes from someone who has soft locked in this run. Anywho, get your GGs in chat for Ramond, who has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, 7 seconds.
That Triforce Dex was nice.
Yep, it will.
And now we wait for the... Oh. Yeah, we have to wait for the German interview first.
Wait a minute, he's in the room. I'll hold off on that. He isn't in. Yeah, he's hopping in the German first. So, yep, it's a bit of a waiting game, but that's okay. This was a lot of fun.
I'm guessing he got the wrong link again. Because yesterday he got so when the tracker hits finish on the tracking system, there's a bot in the background that automatically sends an invite to the commentary booth. But since this is being streamed on 2 different channels, the runner gets slammed with 2 invites at once. And as it happened with yesterday, he got the wrong link first. So the next match is to be announced. Oh my god, Yoshi only did 9 extra checks when compared to yesterday's race. And unfortunately, Ramond's counter is going to be quite a bit higher, thanks to the 16 extra chests he opened in GT.
So while we got a minute, I might as well go over the schedule for the rest of tonight. At 8 o'clock, we've got not 1, but 2 different races going on. First one on a channel to be determined, Untitled Goose Game Tournament continues. On Speed Gaming Main at that time will be the continuation of the Mario 3 Randomizer Tournament. It is part of a quad race, which I can tell you that one of the runners in that quad is yours truly. And so it's going to be a fun time, I can tell you that much right now, as we are closing in on not only the bracket stages, but for those that didn't make brackets, there's a Challenge Cup coming up in the very near future. Also, 9 o'clock is the A Link to the Past Rando Daily Race Open Mode Logic for tonight. That's all that's on the calendar. As for the next match, it will be tomorrow at this time, around this time, I believe. I'll be just getting off work at that time. Oh.
And we are joined in the booth by Ramond. GG.
Oh, hey guys, GG, although that wasn't quite deserving.
That turned into a well-played seed. Whew. His sanity is something else.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what really bothered me here the most, so I kind of totally phased out the location in the back of Skull Woods. Well, I mean, there's a long backstory to that actually, so I usually never steal the small key in Skull Woods to check the pinball room. That is usually always a bad idea. But this time, it was an exception because the Dark World access was over Aga, and I didn't want to risk skipping the hammer or the mitts or something in exactly that chest. So I thought, okay, just this once, I will be fine taking the key, and hopefully I will find another Skullwood small key soon that I can do the back. And then sometime later I got the fire rod from Magic Bat, and then I thought, okay, I could do Skullwoods now, but wait, I don't have a small key. I need to wait for a small key before I can go back there. And that's the mistake I made, because the chest is not locked by a small key, but only the boss is. So I completely forgot about that location after I basically last located every other check, more or less. I only had like isolated checks left: Hera big chest, Eastern big chest, Agina, and something else I don't even remember. And afterwards I was very confused. And yeah. At some point it clicked, and then I knew, okay, I need to play very aggressively from now on. So I did, and I think I had a pretty good run, actually. I might even say I played it really well until up to GT again. And in GT, then my usual GT route is going Dark Magician. So I usually go Stalfos room, then the right side Compass room, and then the rest of the left side. Except in Key Sanity, I usually start at the right side and then go left, but I completely forgot about this now. And then when I was on my way to Stalfos room, I just thought, okay, at this point it's more efficient to just go full left. And yeah, then I lost a bit of time again, I guess. But yeah, happens. It's rando. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that is rando, but to be honest, the early game was paying off pretty good, as you started by going to Eastern, and by way of Harapot, you got the flute rather early. Just too bad that didn't pan out into something really big. Like, because if you had Titan Mist, this could have been a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I guess so. But I didn't actually feel very good about the early game. It somehow felt very disconnected what I was doing, and somehow I had many single checks and I was never sure, okay, what is the best way to go now. I mean, by the time I found the hookshot in Harry Castle, Dark Cross, then I knew, okay, Paradox Cave. And Paradox Cave had the... what did it have? Was there a pearl? Was it there? No, it was in Hera. Right, there was the mirror that led to the pearl in Hera, and there was also the Harry Castle small key in there. So I thought, okay, the Aga access will probably be in Hyrule Castle in Escape. So I just gambled on Master Sword or Cape being in there, and that worked out kinda. But yeah, I think the rest of my early game was a mess.
Yeah, look at the difference in collection rate. Barring that GT thing, you would have had a lower collection rate than Yoshi.
Yeah, I guess also thanks to the skips I did, because I skipped Spike Cave, cutscene chest, left side swamp, so I really knew I had to catch up by leaving some locations. And yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that beat you a bit was the Darth Hera big chest having the boots.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Actually, I know that Yoshi also does the Hera pot. I mean, he's very well capable of doing it, but I guess this time he just wanted to be safe and not go too far out of logic. So he told me already before in the German interview that he waited for the big key for Hera. And yeah, I was actually hoping that he would either skip the boots for a longer time, or I don't know, maybe skip the ice rod for a longer time, because Bo was available so late and we actually didn't have a bottle. That was pretty strange.
Yeah, that was weird. You guys didn't get a bottle until you were in Mire, and I believe you were the first one to pick that up, because I was wondering, is that bottle gonna be anything? With how late it was, it seemed like it was possible.
Yeah. Right, because left side I was also considering skipping the Firelock chest, because without 3 Maya small keys, if I'm just one item from Go mode, I just usually skip the whole Firelocked Maya side. But this time it was like a compromise. Okay, I'll just check the top chest, so hopefully I wouldn't get bitten by the cutscene chest.
Yeah, when Yoshi was doing that, my thought process was, so was this a time save or a race loss? Because if that chest had something, you were last location it.
Yeah, definitely. But if I played safely, then obviously Yoshi would have the advantage anyway because of my derp with the mids. So I knew I just had to go through with it all the way. Yeah, sadly it wasn't quite enough, but I hope it was kind of nice to see how I probably caught up a bit. But yeah.
Yeah, so at least 2 more games in front of us now.
Yeah, it looks that way. Okay, yeah, at this point I think I would switch back to the German commentary, so I'd like to say thank you for commentating and watching. And thanks for the restream. I don't know yet when we will have our Game 3, but I guess in case it's gonna be restreamed on an English channel as well, then you're probably gonna get note of it sometime.
And that we will, and it was our pleasure and a lot of fun to be able to commentate.
Thank you for giving a bit of your time to talk to us here. It's fun. Alright, so with that, we're gonna wrap up on our end. So, any closing remarks, Leslie?
I gotta say, this was a heck of a seed, a heck of a race, and it literally came down to basically left-right GT, quite literally this time. But with that being said, the only other thing I didn't mention that's going on right now is on Speed Gaming Main. They are revealing the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 2 as we speak. But before we get out of here, one bit of business I should do is feel free to give our runners a follow. They are the stars of this show, as otherwise there'd just be a couple of folks talking about random stuff. As that would be Ramond Ramondox, I probably butchered that, and iiYoshii. As for commentary, if you're so inclined, those links are there as well. And with that, any final thoughts on what we've seen for this seed?
They completely crushed my time estimate for the All Dungeon seed.
Yeah, because All Dungeons can be a real nasty beast in itself. You add Key Sanity into it, oh boy. That's all I'm going to say about that. However, the real big routing difference I felt was Yoshi basically going into Hera when he did, because that big chest having the boots. That seemed to be the big break, at least to me.
So, the big Key Sanity, while it has some a little more complication, when it hits Go mode, it is considerably faster than other modes, as we've seen with Yoshi, that he opened a single chest in GT and just started climbing.
Yeah, because the minimum to see that in a regular race would be like 2 at best.
It kinda evens out the time between regular and Key Sanity, although Key Sanity still takes up a bit more time.
Yeah, and Key Sanity also requires quite a bit more brain power, because I can tell you, I've played a Key Sanity seed myself, and by the end of it, I'm brain fried. Yeah, my brain's so cooked, it's like, yeah, I just need a break so my brain can just go, take a breath.
Oh well, I can't talk much. It's been roughly 2 months since I last played Rando.
I still play one from time to time, but I got other stuff going on that I have to devote my time to, so, well, hey, that's life in a nutshell for you. On that note, I'd say it's time we get out of here, Ramond. Take us home!
Alright, see ya, folks.
Yep, and that is for my co-com Ramond, our tracker, everyone, the runners, and everyone behind the scenes. He's Hugo. I'm Leslie Crow. Have a good night, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.